Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am KATIEHUGHES, a celebrity and editorial makeup artist, and this is Uncut with KJH, an unedited beauty tutorial where you see the good, the bad, and everything in between. That is my little spiel for you before I start my makeup. I have on just a touch of concealer, a touch of something on my cheeks and lips, and then a bit of mascara from a tutorial that I did this morning. I've gone out and run some errands, and a little bit of it is faded away, which is fine because it was very natural to begin with. And I'm going to turn this natural makeup look into, a smoky eye. I'm first going to start by bronzing. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in number 2. It's a cream. It's quite a interesting texture, almost like a velvety moussey. I can imagine it pleases a lot of people based on the texture of it, as it's just lovely. I'm using a slightly larger brush just because I want kind of a larger fill space. Ooh, so I had shine on my cheek here earlier, and that part just sort of took more because I had shine on my cheek, and that's just something to know, that if there's texture on your face from products that are shiny, they will make other products transfer more or transfer less. That might not make any sense. I hope it does. But I'm doing this first because I'm going to start with a little bit more concealer before I go on to an eye look. One thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of this bronzing cream over my eyelids, just for a little bit of something in there. A little up into the brow. There's no right or wrong. Just get it on and keep your brusher pressure soft. If you keep your brush pressure soft, you will be greeted with a very seamless, beautiful blend that doesn't have any hard lines in it. The harder the blend, the more you are pulling the skin, creating lines in your blend. That will make sense if it's ever happened to you. My brush is shedding, but that is not a big deal because brushes sometimes do that. Okay, we're feeling good. I'm going to go straight with eyes. I'm going to do concealer after the fact. I'm loving this Oma Beauty palette. Oma Beauty is a black-owned brand by Sharon C, and it's just such a gorgeous palette. These neutrals are beautiful. I use this as eyeliner. As you can see, there's like a wet area that I use Fix Plus on, and these are all beautiful shimmers. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the shimmers just yet. I'm just going to one step at a time. This is a brush that I'm sampling, and I really like the shape of the head, so I'm going to use this. What sampling means is it's a brush that I'm testing as something for my own brand at some point. So I'm taking this mid-brown, and I'm going to go all the way around the lash line on the inner corner of the eye, all the way under, and then I'm going to pull it down a little bit into almost an area where you might think that, you know, is too low, but there's hardly anything on my brush, and it's a nice way to blend. So we're bringing it down into there. This one's a little better than the other side, so I'm going to go back to this side and start again and get right into the root and then smear it down. And it gives you this slightly sleepy but beautiful look because you're going to finish it with products that enhance the lashes and so on and so forth. Doing the same thing on the top lid, but I'm focusing a lot of the product on the outer corner over here. Not really worrying too much about any kind of fallout, nor am I too worried about my blend. I'm just sort of getting it on at the root of the lash. Everything is fixable. Like everything that you do in makeup is fixable, unless you've put too much on. Too much sometimes is less fixable than a little bit going in the wrong place. Okay, just packing it on. If you've got a hooded eye, you will lose a lot of this color when you open your eye. So therefore, my suggestion is to go higher. So now I'm just taking a small fluffy brush. I'm just blending all of those edges until I get a seamless kind of look out of the blend all the way around. And then I actually might take this brush and use it with that same color, tap off the excess, and just go a little higher. And a little bit into that crease there with my eye open, looking into a mirror. And this helps me because it shows me where the placement should be for other people to be able to see this, other than just myself, for example, like this. If you can only see your makeup while you're doing it, and then when you open your eyes, it's disappeared, you need to go higher. Whatever space you see between the lash line and the eyebrow is fair game, in my humble opinion. I think that, you know, if you've got hooded eyes or you've got a lid that's like a little bit obstructed by a part of skin on the eye, don't let it put you off. Just try a different method. And don't watch people maybe that, you know, are sort of showing a very edited version of something that might not be realistic for you. I mean, if this doesn't make any sense for you, what I'm showing you, don't try it. But at least try the method of applying something with a kind of a bit of an unconventional method, like with your eyes open and sort of going above the fold. It might push you out of comfort zone a little bit, but if you can see it and it makes you happy to be able to see it and for other people to be able to see it, then, you know, I wouldn't put like a dark brown eyeshadow right there, but I would go like there if that was how much space I had to play with. So because I've got this as now a blending brush, I need to take a clean brush to be able to blend further, because there's now too much product in that other brush because I applied it as like primary application and then blend. Primary application was that blue brush that I used, and then I turned the second blender into a primary application and a blender. There's like a little bit of sleep. Okay, got it. All right, so now that we've got our first layer on, this is just one color, but the beauty of just one color eyeshadow is I can actually make this look like two very different colors if I apply it densely at the root of my lash. I can add more depth with just that one shadow by applying it with a concentrated little brush, like a brush that's got tight bristles, that's like a little bit stiff. Do you see? Do you see? I think you're all probably, I hope you're all nodding, because otherwise I'm not doing my job. I'm reblending with this. And another thing that I love to do with what's in this brush is bring it under the brow a little. I love this little sort of cheeky inner corner placement that makes it look like you've got slightly more sort of sultry eyes. And if you want to pick up a little, you can, but just don't pick too much. And the harder that you press, the more it's going to impact. So go soft and go gentle. Dense little brushes like the one I was just using have a tendency to apply firm to begin with. These brushes, soft, fluffy, loose bristled brushes, tend to apply looser than apply more softly, like more hazy, more pretty and soft versus dense and hard. Okay, so now I'm going to take this brush again and I'm going to go right into the black shadow, and I'm just going to go in at the root of the lash on the top. I'm just sort of going to stamp it in just a little bit. And then I'm going to just stamp it in on the other side. See what it looks like. A little on the lower, a little on the lower. So this is kind of like a good standard placement and sort of method for just a nice smoky eye. You can do this with any colors, but you always want to sort of start with a lighter brown, fading into a darker brown, or even just using your brush differently. And then a black if you want more intensity at the root. I am probably going to apply more of that brown because I don't love how the black seems a little intense. So I'm just going to take my big brush again and take this brown. This is actually quite a small brush, and apply right over the top. And what that's going to do is give me sort of a more beautiful sort of softness, but it's keeping the intensity of the black. Is this helping? Is this making any sense? And do you see that my movements are quite small and quite sort of precise and targeted? You know, I might do that, but I don't typically do big washes of sweeping throughout the lid. I am now going to just take this clean brush that I was using to blend and bring it into the crease just there. And then we're just going to move on from the eyes for a moment because I want to just do a little bit of concealer and just start to show you some technique around putting concealer on effectively around your eyeshadow without ruining it. So this is getting quite close, almost a little bit too, I'm like getting a little cheeky with my placement there, but you're going to take a small eyeshadow brush or a large eyeshadow brush. Okay, that's just powder, it's not glitter, that's good. You're going to blend in at the areas where you care the least about mistakes. And you're going to blend those bits in. And you're not going to go anywhere near that shadow just now. You're going to pull down and away from the eye. And then you're going to go to that one, wherever you've reapplied it. We're priming the brush at this point, okay? So then I'm going to just make sure it's blended down here, go into the nose perhaps with what's left. Now I'm going to just sort of stipple into this one a little bit. And I'm going to really carefully just start to sort of push it towards the eyeshadow ever so slightly. And now there's the perfect amount in my brush to go close to that eye and give myself an even better blend. But I would never, ever put concealer into the shadow like at the deepest part. I would always go at the haziest part of the shadow in the blend area and then do this trick. But this will give you a really gorgeous finish on your shadow and make it look like you had your makeup done by a professional. Okay, I am going to take a slightly larger brush though, just to do that exact same thing in a bigger space. I do want to sort of just like, you know, carve out a little bit more structure and apply a little bit more concealer in certain areas of the face. So this is a bigger brush, and I'm just going to, again, I don't want to get rid of that contour that I created earlier with the bronzer, but I do want to sharpen it. I do want to blend a little bit of concealer into the area around it. But another cool thing that you can do with this brush is once you've done all the blending, not this brush particularly, but after this technique that I just did, once you've done all the blending of this part, you can take what's left in this brush and skim it around and even over the bronzer just to dull it down slightly. And it gives you a more hazy, pretty, sort of little softer look out of the products that you applied. And you do want to make sure that your pressure gets lighter with every single step that you take. If your pressure is the same throughout every single step, you might be taking things off as you're applying them. I don't know what you're doing, but you just got to always just like lessen the pressure with each step. I'm gonna apply Pout lip liner from Era Perez, and I might just use this as a color, I don't know. It's kind of like a brown, slightly warmer brown than I would typically go for. I've had a lot of coffee today. I like these pencils because they're soft. There's a little bit of pink on my lip from a product that I just tested from Ruby Hammer. It is called Serum Lip Balm in Pink. I'm going to just use a bit more of that actually because I like the finish and the color. But I'm going to blend it in with a big fluffy brush. Big fluffy eyeshadow brush. Small fluffy eyeshadow brush, but big for the mouth. And then I've created kind of like a pinky beige. And I'm not probably going to do glitter on my eyes. I want to do a version without, and I feel like I always do glitter on my eyes. I'm going to use NARS Climax mascara. And I like to blink on the wand because it helps me not transfer it on the lid. But in all honesty, if it does get on the lid just a little, it doesn't really bother me because it adds to the drama. Unless I'm going for like a really clean look where I don't want, you know, it to look like I've got makeup on at all. Don't really change it. Nice and full and brushed up. I would love to know any sort of requests that you have for Uncut with KJH. The YouTube format that I'm doing is, for now, Uncut with KJH. I'm going to start introducing different content sort of categories. Fashion, a little bit of lifestyle possibly, video diaries, like things like that. But for now, we're focusing on makeup. I'm going to do the bottom lashes. I think it's always nice to do the bottom lash when you do have bottom lash makeup on. It just helps to like bring it all together. Okay. Yeah, so if you have any other requests for Uncut with KJH, I would love to know what they are. So here's where we are. I really like the look of this. I am going to just define my beauty marks a touch with the, I'm going to just do the ash blonde color of the Nabla because it's dark enough. Also even, she's getting cheeky. No, stop it. Stop it right now, Katie. And I think that's it. I think that's enough. I might just add a touch more blush and maybe do a bit of powder, but I think that's a nice little tutorial right there without too much to sort of, this is called Wake Up Pink, even though I would say it's more peach. It's from Chanel. And the highest point of the cheek, just there, I think it just adds a little bit of a freshness to a smoky eye. I do want to see recreations of these if you ever do recreate these looks that Uncut with KJH looks. And if you do ever recreate them and you post them to any social media, please hashtag Uncut with KJH, and then I'll be able to see, a little on the nose is always nice. I'll be able to see them. And this is also a lip and cheek, so you can use these on the lips as well, which I actually might just do because I like a consistent sort of, but it's definitely more peach than it is pink. Yeah. Tag me in anything that you do make that I've inspired. Powder, this is Charlotte Tilbury's powder, and I'm using my number 8 brush. I'm just going under the nose. I really like to go into the nose here because I don't like to be shiny in this realm here because it could look like something else. Toddler. Toddlers have these little areas of wet noses sometimes. We're not going for toddler, little drippy nose. We're going for grown woman who's got, or grown man or grown person who's got it all figured out. What a random thing to say, gosh. All right, another little hack is just to sweep your eyeshadow with a bit of powder. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you try this. Let me know if you liked it. All right, lots of love. Bye.